Hello, everyone. Today, I will explain the concept of establishing the essence of peace in this world, allowing us to understand the core principles that liberate us from harming one another and free us from all forms of suffering. By doing so, we can transcend all suffering. All forms of suffering arise from the nature within us, which becomes attached to various manifestations. This inner nature clings to everything, perceiving it as belonging to us, our land, our homes, our possessions, our territories, our status, our families, our relatives, and our lineage. However, if we take a step back and look inward, we will see that all of these are external. When we recognize that everything is external, we might then question where the notion of ownership truly comes from. Can we see this clearly? Suppose we exist in this universe, right? If we step back and come to reside in this world, it means that whatever lies beyond this world does not belong to us. Let's take another step inward. If we reside within this body, focusing solely on this physical form, it signifies that whatever lies outside this body is not ours. Can you understand this? If we are in this body, everything outside of it does not belong to us. This is simple to grasp, isn't it? Now take another step inward. Step further inside. When you go inward, what remains is only the awareness of experiences. At this point, there is sound, mental images, and emotions. This is the inner realm. Focus on this inner space first. If we go inward, try closing your eyes. As you go inside, you will notice the sound of this voice and the awareness that perceives the sound. The images you imagine are also within, as are the emotions. Right now, you're inside, staying with the awareness of sound, mental images, and emotions. All of this is internal. If you are aware in this way, then this body is no longer you. It is external as well. Can you understand this? Close your eyes and stay inward. Now go even deeper and deeper within. What remains is the pure awareness, silently knowing, perceiving everything. It is aware of sound, aware of certain things, but it is only knowing, purely and entirely within. This shows that everything is external. Now, even the sound becomes external. Try speaking in your mind. The voice you hear within is also external. If we remain simply aware within, we will see sound as just something external, appearing for the mind to perceive. We are the mind. We are the essence of life, an empty and clear state that functions solely as awareness. The one that is aware of the sound is the mind. The sound itself is what is being perceived, existing externally. Similarly, imagined mental images are objects of perception, as are emotions. Emotions of pleasure are objects of perception. Emotions of displeasure are objects of perception. Even neutral emotions are objects of perception. What remains is only pure awareness, silent, empty awareness without any stories or narratives. This awareness is here, while everything else is external. Now, as we go deeper inward, deeper still, until the very core, what we find at the deepest point is emptiness. There is nothing. When we fully delve inward, there is nothing left, only a bright, empty awareness within. Yet there is still a sense of knowing, an awareness that it is empty, a feeling that we are perceiving this emptiness. This is where we simply observe and recognize this state as the essence of emptiness, clear, pure, and ownerless. Can you see it? This state of perception arises naturally. The sound strikes, and the nature of awareness perceives it on its own. Can you see that it perceives on its own? Observe this carefully. Where is the self in this? Allow nature to answer for itself. Let it accept for itself that there is no self. When this natural state accepts that it has no form and nothing within it signifies the presence of a self, what remains is only emptiness, pure, clear, and absolutely pristine within. There is no self here. This nature does not belong to anyone. It is a profoundly pure essence. Observe carefully until you truly see that there is no self at all. There is no need to protect it or to desire ownership over it. This natural state is already pure, empty, and clear on its own. This explanation merely introduces you to this understanding. This natural state is the essence of life, empty, clear, and pure. Our role is simply to observe that this awareness perceives on its own. It sees on its own. It hears on its own. It senses and perceives taste on its own. It feels touch on its own. It perceives everything independently. Is this not true? Let this pure essence of life answer for itself. Allow it to respond and to realize on its own that there is absolutely nothing that constitutes self in any of it. When this essence of life speaks up on its own, without prompting, tears will flow from us. We will feel an incredible lightness, as though a great weight has been lifted. In that moment, we will see that everything is part of a constructed world, a world of illusions. Everything in this world is a fabrication, like existing in a dream. We once believed this dream to be real, unaware that nothing truly has a self, nothing truly exists as it appears. We are the essence of life, empty, clear, and without form. We have no shape or structure. We are a profoundly pure, crystalline nature, merging seamlessly with the infinite emptiness of the universe. If we fully realize this truth in our hearts, it releases us entirely. It feels as though we are pulled out from this body, from thoughts, emotions, and sensations. Even sound ceases to be us. We will clearly see that the sound is not us. Observe carefully. Can you see this clearly? The sound is not us. It is not us speaking. Try speaking in your mind. Can you see that it isn't truly you speaking? It is something that ripples through the emptiness, an occurrence within the void. Mental images, too, are just ripples in the emptiness. All emotions, whether pleasant or unpleasant, are merely ripples in the emptiness. Even awareness itself is just the ripple of knowing within this vast emptiness, occurring on its own. There is no self in any of it. What remains is us, as the emptiness itself, clear, indescribable, unmoving, neither dark nor bright. It simply exists, still and timeless, without birth or death. This natural state has never been born, nor will it ever die. It existed before all things. Imagine erasing the entire universe, removing all darkness, all light. What remains is only the clear, empty purity that neither comes nor goes. In this state there is no time, no distance, no thing at all. There is only absolute clarity and purity. This is what we truly are, the pure, clear essence. It's as if the entire universe exists within the mind, everything unified into one, and one containing everything. We are one with all things, inseparable. There's no need to preserve it, create it, or purify it. It already exists as it is. We only need to see this truth continually. Grasp this principle well, as it is the most essential understanding. When we fully realize this, tears will flow uncontrollably. Why? Because we lose the sense of self. We once believed we were humans, men, women, but this pure essence is none of these. It has no form, no gender, no age. It is beyond language. The words we use are merely ripples on the surface, tools of this pure essence of life. Sound is just a tool, performing its function. Observe inwardly. Simply observe. Notice the inner voice that speaks. It speaks on its own, then disappears. Like a ripple, it arises and fades, continuously coming into being and passing away. It's always appearing and disappearing, rippling into existence and vanishing, moment after moment. Observe this phenomenon. It is a constant flow of arising and dissolving, a natural rhythm of appearing and vanishing. This is the nature of all things. Observe carefully. It ripples and speaks on its own. It ripples and thinks on its own. It ripples and forms emotions on its own. It ripples and performs the act of knowing on its own. These natural processes function independently, doing their work naturally. The pure essence of life, the clear, empty essence, utilizes these tools to learn and understand itself. In truth, we are the essence of life, empty, clear, and pure, existing before all things. As this essence encounters various influences and impacts from the universe, it begins to ripple. These ripples, which assign value and meaning to experiences, are simply temporary tools, natural mechanisms that it uses for a time. This is its inherent nature, and it has always been so. The nature of water inherently has surface tension. Imagine this as a metaphor for our essence of life. We are like clear water. This clear water naturally has surface tension, and when something touches it, it ripples. It perceives the touch and reacts, constantly rippling and adjusting. Similarly, when anything impacts this essence of life, it perceives immediately. When food touches the tongue, it knows instantly. When a scent arises, it perceives it immediately. When a sound reaches it, it recognizes it at once. When an image appears, it perceives it. When the air feels cold or warm, it notices it immediately. Even the inner voice speaking within is known. The thoughts, the emotions, everything is recognized by this essence. This knowing nature functions on its own, fulfilling its purpose effortlessly. All of these experiences are temporary tools utilized by our pure essence of life. The body we inhabit is also temporary, something we rely on for a short time. This body is born, and eventually it will disintegrate. It cannot last long. When we truly understand this with our pure essence of life, deeply and fully, we awaken to this truth. Listen to these teachings over and over, 10 times, 100 times, even 1,000 times, until this realization breaks free within you. When it happens, tears will flow uncontrollably. Why? Because you will see that nothing is truly us. We once believed everything was ours, this body, this voice, these thoughts, emotions, and sensations. But the truth is, nothing is us. We are the pure, formless, crystal clear essence. When we transcend the attachments to this body, to the voice, to the thoughts, emotions, and even the awareness itself, we are free. In that freedom, all doubts vanish. We finally understand why we were born and what we are here for. We have often asked ourselves, why were we born? We search for something, yearning for answers. Yet when we encounter this, the essence of our own life, we realize it has always been within us. This pure, empty, and crystal clear essence of life has been with us all along. However, we have never truly known it because no one has taught us about it. From the moment we were born, our parents taught us to think, to remember, and to rely on these tools, thoughts, emotions, sensations, and the body itself. We were guided to depend on these tools. In school, we were further taught to rely on thinking, memorizing, and striving to survive and succeed. Our lives revolved around this, and we became lost in it. When the body eventually breaks down and disintegrates, this pure essence, still unaware of its true nature, seeks out another body to inhabit, continuing its journey to rediscover itself. However, in each lifetime, we become engrossed in the external world, never turning inward to learn about ourselves. A fish is born and spends its life struggling to survive, searching for sustenance, never knowing its own essence. A creature of the earth burrows and toils, focused only on survival, never learning its own pure nature. land animals strive to eat and survive, unaware of their essence. Birds soar and seek their needs, but remain disconnected from their inner truth. Even as humans, we continue to strive for food, shelter, and material goals. Yet we remain unaware of the pure essence of life within us. This cycle repeats endlessly, driven by external pursuits, without ever discovering the profound clarity, purity, and freedom that lie within. In truth, everyone in this world is the same. All of us are the pure, empty, and clear essence of life, a clear, formless presence. This pure essence inhabits vessels, using tools, and resides in physical bodies with the ultimate goal of learning about itself. That is the true purpose. However, once we are born, we become preoccupied with survival. Imagine a life spent merely seeking food and rest, repeating the cycle of eating, sleeping, and waking, trapped in an endless loop of repetition. This is the cycle of existence, revolving endlessly in the same patterns. Each time a body breaks down, another body is found. In every new life, the same patterns repeat, seeking food, resting, and striving for survival. In this cycle, life becomes filled with struggle, conflict, and competition for sustenance. We exhaust ourselves, quarrel, and harm one another over resources. We believe this body is us. We believe we are human beings, that we are speaking, thinking, feeling, and perceiving. We identify everything as ourselves, unaware of the truth, that we are, in essence, pure, empty life seeking to understand itself. Do you see? There's a constant feeling of wanting, a sense that we are searching for something. Yet, the answer remains elusive, even as we grow older. This perpetual search drives conflict, anger, and hatred. We argue, compete for resources, land, and possessions. We harm and destroy one another because of the illusion that all of this is us or ours. Listen to my recordings and remember this well. These recordings were created with purpose. I will produce hundreds of them, each one an hour long, to explain this core truth, the essence of peace for this world, for all of us, and for every soul. The essence is this: we are pure, formless, and clear. Imagine how light a formless essence is. It has no shape. It blends with everything. It carries no weight. It is light, open, and free. It does not need food. It is not entangled with emotions of happiness, suffering, or neutrality. It is completely untouched by any of these. In this essence, there is no sound, no image, no emotion, and no phenomena of any kind. It is pure, completely pure. This is the essence of peace. Share these recordings widely. Spread them on platforms, 𝙤𝙤𝙨𝙩𝙚, on YouTube, Facebook, and everywhere. Share them with everyone: children, the elderly, people with disabilities, women, men, people of all genders, ages, classes, statuses, religions, beliefs, nations, ethnicities, and countries. Let everyone on this planet hear this message. This is universal knowledge. All of us have an empty, clear, and pure essence of life within. The voice speaking now is merely a phenomenon performing its function. It is not us. We are the clear and pure essence within, while the voice is just a phenomenon. Mental images are just phenomena. Awareness itself is just a phenomenon. Emotions, too, are just phenomena. Yet, this essence of life does not realize that it is pure, and instead becomes attached to these phenomena. When we suffer, consider this. Imagine hearing someone insult us harshly. The moment we hear it, anger flares up, and we react emotionally. We cry, we fight, and we argue. We lie awake at night, unable to sleep, consumed by anger. This burning emotion scorches our heart, making us restless and furious inside. But what if we saw that the voice, the words we heard, is merely something intangible? Sound is like the wind. You cannot grasp it. If we see sound as just the wind, if we view mental images and emotions the same way, like intangible breezes, why do we cling to them? By clinging, we provoke anger, conflict, and destruction daily. The moment it hears a sound, an emotion arises, whether of satisfaction or dissatisfaction. This process happens naturally, on its own, like a robot being controlled. Imagine this robot is hearing a sound and experiencing emotions of contentment or discontentment. Whatever happens to this robot, it is not us. Do you understand this? Simply observe. Right now, as you hear a sound, it perceives the sound by itself. You don't need to intentionally hear it. Notice inwardly. It is aware, it hears on its own. Sometimes, as we walk, a foul smell reaches us, or a pleasant fragrance comes our way. Observe how it perceives the smell on its own. Understand this principle clearly. It knows on its own. It sees on its own. It hears on its own. It tastes on its own. It feels hot or cold on its own. It speaks internally on its own. It thinks internally on its own. If we simply observe and grasp this truth, even just once, this is what is called nature seeing nature, the nature of our pure essence of life, when sound, images, emotions, or sensations arise, can recognize its own nature through its natural function. It's like a wave. When a wave arises, the water knows it as a wave. It perceives this through its own nature. Observe carefully. What is aware right now, perceives on its own, speaks on its own. Notice inwardly and closely. The empty, clear, and pure essence of life is simply waiting to be discovered. Let us turn inward and discover this origin within ourselves. It is a profound challenge for all of us. No matter how many subjects we learn in this world, even if we master 1,000,000 of them, we will never escape suffering. The more we know externally, the more chaotic life becomes. Yet, there is an inner nature waiting to be uncovered, a treasure of immense power and potential. When we begin to see this truth by letting go of everything, we notice that the body itself is defined by sound. The sound tells us, "This is a leg." Look closely. Does that thing itself say it is the left leg or the right leg? The sound tells us, "This is the left leg and this is the right leg." Observe closely. Does that thing itself say anything about being a left leg, a right leg, or even a part of our body? Try opening and closing your hand. What you'll find is only the sensation, just the feeling of it. It doesn't declare itself to be anything. That sensation is the function of the essence of life, perceiving through its natural awareness. It knows without language. It is a silent, steady knowing. But the voice, this natural process of speaking, immediately assigns value and meaning, labeling it as the left leg, the right arm, or even ours. Now look at everything in this world. None of it speaks. It is simply perceived, just known. The essence of life perceives all of it in a spacious, wordless way. It knows without labeling. Yet the voice comes in saying, "This is a wall. This is a fan. This is a roof. This is a house. This is our house. This is our car. This is our family." It is the voice assigning meanings to objects, including this body. But the objects themselves, do they ever say they are ours? Look deeply. What you'll see is that everything is simply known in a clear, empty way, without language. Do you see how it is the voice that assigns meaning to everything on this earth, even to this body? If you see this and understand it, tears may flow. Tears flow because there is a feeling of lightness, of openness, as if you've been freed from an illusion. It's as though you realize you've been deceived, caught in something you never needed to cling to. It feels weightless, strange, and liberating, bringing tears of relief and clarity. Observe how light and open it feels, as if you are freeing yourself from this body. It feels lighter, like 25% of the weight has lifted. Continue observing. Emotions, for instance, are simply phenomena doing their own work. Just observe them. They arise on their own. Good emotions come on their own and fade away on their own. Negative emotions arise and fade away on their own. Feelings of satisfaction or dissatisfaction appear and disappear by themselves. You don't need to do anything. Just observe. They appear naturally and disappear naturally. If you can see this clearly, tears may flow, and you will feel even more free, as if another 50% of the weight has been lifted. You begin to detach from emotions. It feels lighter, more open. Now, consider the images you imagine. They are just images. They simply exist as they are, performing their natural function. The voice that speaks, observe closely. It speaks on its own, and then dissolves, word by word, fading away on its own. It arises and disappears by itself. Just observe, and you will see. Simply observe inwardly. Listen to these teachings repeatedly and focus solely on observing within, avoiding distraction from the external. As you stay inward, emotions work by themselves. The voice, the images that appear, they function on their own. You may suddenly realize, wait, the voice is speaking on its own, and the thoughts are arising on their own. This realization strikes like a flash of understanding. Tears may flow, and you will begin to question. If the voice speaks by itself, then who is speaking? If what I thought was me speaking isn't me, then who is speaking? Where is the self? Who am I? What am I? This understanding leads to detachment from the notion of self by 75%. At this stage, you will see clearly and continuously, always inwardly. As you continue observing, a profound sense of lightness and openness will grow. But it's not entirely gone yet. There's still a sense that I exist. It hasn't fully dissolved. There is still the one who knows. Who is it that knows? Observe closely. Imagine you're walking leisurely, feeling at ease. Suddenly a car horn honks. Beep! At that moment, you hear the sound and become aware of it. Then a flash of realization strikes. Wait, who is aware? And it all explodes, the awareness of the sound, the understanding of it. In that moment, it feels as though the sound itself disappears, everything crumbles, and the entire world seems to vanish completely. You are left feeling entirely open and weightless, engulfed in silence and vast emptiness. It's as if you've been released from the sound, from everything. Now, from the awareness that arises, it is freed from the act of knowing. It sees that this knowing is not our knowing. It knows on its own. When this realization occurs, it feels as if we become the pure, formless essence, an empty, clear presence. We are the essence of life itself, a life that has no shape. At this point, a deep understanding arises. We have never truly been born into this world. We have never been connected to this world at all. This realization brings tears, tears that flow endlessly, because in that moment, we lose the sense of self. The moment we understand that we are this pure essence of life, the essence that has been searching for this truth for so long, it becomes clear. This essence has used many tools, including these sensations and this body, and has lived through many lifetimes, trying to understand this pure, empty, and clear essence of life. In this era, we hear these teachings, and when we understand, the truth dawns on us. As soon as we realize this, we become free. We understand everything about this world, that peace can only arise when everyone on this planet understands this pure essence. When everyone realizes that this world is like a dream, we no longer need to fight, harm, or compete. There is nothing that is ours or self. This realization will naturally arise. Then, the desire to share this understanding will emerge. We want everyone to experience this because we no longer suffer. We are freed from everything. The essence itself does not suffer. It is free from all things. As for emotions, thoughts, and mental images, they remain the same. Thoughts continue, the voice still speaks, mental images arise, and emotions still appear. The knowing continues as before, but there is no self in any of it. There is no me in the experience. This truth will become vividly clear within us, so clear that it will remain imprinted in our hearts and minds at all times. We will realize that we are this essence, this pure and empty state, and that everything else is not us at all. From this realization, we will live in this world without suffering. We will smile and tell others, "Don't quarrel, don't harm each other." While sharing these teachings and spreading this knowledge to everyone, this understanding is something that no one has ever pointed us toward before. It is simple. The core principle is just this: observe inwardly. Simply observe within and recognize that the voice speaking is not us. Let the voice do its work, as it is part of nature functioning on its own. Let the voice speak by itself, whether silently in your mind or out loud. Let it do its job. Similarly, let mental images perform their function. Do not cling to them. Never hold on to the voice within or the mental images that arise. Whatever appears, let it pass. Do not cling to emotions. Let emotions do their work freely. Do not cling to the act of perceiving, whether tasting, hearing, smelling, seeing, or feeling. All of these processes happen naturally by themselves. Observe closely. All we need to do is avoid attaching ourselves to these phenomena. Let them function as part of nature. They are not us, not ours, and not anyone else's. The body, too, is part of nature. It is born to age, to fall ill, and eventually to decay. This body will not last long. It exists only to dissolve in the end. When the body disintegrates, the pure essence of life will no longer return to be reborn. It will become an immortal essence, merging completely with the universe. It will remain this way forever, pure and eternal. We will become the purest essence. It is immense and profound. We are this purity, a purity beyond language, for it transcends all worldly constructs. The voice is merely a tool for use in this world. The body exists to serve in this constructed world. Mental images, emotions, and even awareness itself are all tools for navigating this fabricated existence. However, the pure and empty essence of life, our true nature, has no attachments, no roles, and no identity. It is the origin, the foundational essence of all things. The universe, stars, suns, and black holes all reside within this pure, empty essence of ours. Everything exists within the pure, empty clarity of our essence. The explosion of stars, the eruption of the sun, the destruction of all things, even the detonation of nuclear bombs, all these phenomena appear and dissolve within the pure, empty, and pristine origin of all things. Yet, we are not connected to any of it. Imagine the empty, clear space before us, intangible, untouchable. Within this space, there is oxygen, carbon dioxide, and air that exist only as something residing within it. When air moves and forms a violent storm, no matter how destructive, it does nothing to harm the pure, clear emptiness that serves as its base. These forces exist within the clear emptiness, but the emptiness itself remains untouched and uninvolved. We are like fish living in water. Many aquatic creatures live in water, but the water itself remains unaffected. Fish may harm each other, devour one another, but this does nothing to change the water. Waves may rise in the water, tsunamis may occur, or countless creatures, large and small, may fight, kill, and destroy one another. Waste, urine, blood, these dissolve into the water, yet the clear water remains unchanged. We are the pure, empty clarity, like the air or the untouchable emptiness before us. Even if a good person walks through this empty clarity, it remains unaffected. If an evil person passes by, defiling it with waste or destruction, it still remains untouched. Tornadoes, hurricanes, thunderstorms, massive explosions, even the total destruction of the world itself, none of it can harm the pure, empty clarity. Can you grasp this? We are this pure, empty, and pristine essence, unshaken, untouchable, and unbound by anything in existence. We are the pure, empty, and clear essence of life. Even in moments of intense anger, there exists within us a nature that remains untouched, empty, and clear, the essence of our life. When we are filled with immense joy, this same pure essence remains unchanged. It is the clear and empty essence of life within us. When we fully realize this truth, we will naturally want to share it with everyone. We will encourage others to observe within themselves, to listen to these teachings, starting from a young age. Play this message loudly for everyone to hear, for your household, your relatives, your entire village, district, province, and country. Share this knowledge so that it reaches every person. This is knowledge that no one has ever taught us from birth. Let this wisdom enter every institution and society. Parents must teach their children, teachers must teach their students, and leaders must teach their teams. Everyone must share this truth about the pure, empty, and clear essence of life within us, waiting to be discovered, waiting to awaken. When this awakening happens, it reveals the truth of this essence that we have never known before. We use this voice, even though it has never belonged to anyone. We suffer because of this voice, even though the voice itself has never caused anyone to suffer. We are consumed by imagined images, suffering because of them, even though they have never caused anyone harm. We drown in emotions, even though emotions have no owner, and are merely natural phenomena that arise, ripple, and fade away. Even in the act of knowing, we suffer, clinging to the experience of perception, though perception itself is simply an ownerless phenomenon. Observe closely, and you will see these phenomena functioning on their own, intangible and without substance. When the pure essence of life, which has clung to these phenomena for so long, awakens to see that they are not part of it, it begins to release itself. The essence of life lets go of its attachments, freeing itself completely, as if snapping the stem of a lotus and severing all its fibers. Once fully detached, the pure essence of life becomes clear, empty, and merges seamlessly with the infinite universe. It understands everything. It becomes one with all, and all is contained within one. This pure essence of life can be compared to a seed of a giant tree. Who would guess that a tiny seed could hold within it a massive tree towering like a 20-story building, with sprawling branches, flowers, and fruit? Similarly, the entire universe is one with the pure, empty, and clear essence of life within us. We already have this essence. Call it consciousness, soul, or any name. It doesn't matter. Let's simply call it the pure, empty, and clear essence of life. It is everything. Spread this knowledge, share it with everyone. Peace will arise when all people turn inward. They will no longer blame or criticize others. They will stop gossiping, insulting, or fighting with others. They will no longer suffer because of the external world. They will stop being entangled in external chaos. Instead, they will find sustenance and turn inward. Even in the act of seeking sustenance, they will remain inwardly aware, living in harmony with this truth. Life can be compared to a seed, like that of a giant tree. Though small, it holds the potential for immense growth, a towering tree spreading its branches, blooming, and bearing fruit. Similarly, the pure, empty essence of life within us connects to the entirety of the universe. This essence, whether called the mind, spirit, or something else, is inherently clear, boundless, and pure. By understanding and sharing this truth, peace can emerge. When people turn inward to recognize this essence, they will no longer blame or criticize others, engage in gossip, or be troubled by external matters. Instead, they will live simply, seeking only what is necessary for sustenance, while remaining aware of and connected to the inner essence, even amidst daily activities. From the moment we wake up until we sleep, before getting to the methods, let us first understand this. If we are aware inside, observing inside, and see that this awareness is not us, the emotions, the sounds, the images, these are merely manifestations. Be aware, observe them, see that they are not us. See it again and again until you see the nature that it truly speaks on its own. It thinks. It has emotions of its own. Until tears flow, burst forth. It will become light. It will become clear. Notice that if we truly catch it, truly see it, and can break free from it piece by piece, breaking free piece by piece, tears will flow. It will feel clear. Observe carefully. It will become very light. Because if our life has no form, right now we're clinging to this. It's like we're carrying a burden. When the life element was clear, right? It had no form, right? Then we came to bear emotions, bear mental images, bear the voices speaking in our mind, and bear the state of knowing. It's already very heavy, and not enough. We also bear this physical body. It's extremely heavy because it weighs 100 kilo. One day we see that this voice gives value and meaning, that this is the body. If so, then it's not the body anymore. Understanding arises that everything exists because we think. We think that's a tree, so the tree exists. We think this is our family, our house, our car, our land. This voice speaks. Everything exists because of this voice. This body, too. This voice speaks, even though this physical body itself doesn't speak. Nothing speaks at all. Let's all look. There will just be knowing. Nothing is anything. But this voice says, this is our body. If we can see that this voice creates our sense of self, it's like we've discarded the body. It will remain. It will feel light and clear by 25%. It will still be heavy by 75%. And as we keep observing inside, it will seem like these emotions are natural phenomena functioning on their own. They don't say they're happiness or suffering, but this voice is what says this is happiness, this is suffering. We're satisfied. We're unsatisfied. Actually, satisfaction or dissatisfaction are merely manifestations. Once we can see, observe carefully. Just observe and see. Yes, it functions on its own. Then tears will flow freely. It will feel light and clear. It's like it becomes lighter by 50%. Of the 100 that were carried, 50% is now gone. Now for the remaining 50, observe these thoughts and inner speech. It speaks in the mind constantly, thinks until we have a headache. Does it think by itself? Does it create images by itself? When we observe and see that it truly speaks by itself, while we're sitting idly, lying idly, alone in silence, it speaks in the mind. When will we ever be at ease? Do you see it speaking like this? When will we ever be at ease? Do you see it speaking like this? If we quickly notice this voice, when will we ever be at ease? Or when we think, let's take the kids to see giraffes at the zoo. There's an image too. Then see that this speaking voice isn't us speaking. The images appear on their own. If we just observe and see this, it's nature. Seeing nature, it will suddenly click and break free. It's like we've discarded another 25%. Now it remains. It's become lighter by 75% now. Only 25% remains, but it's become much lighter. Tears flow again this time. It will see continuously now. Notice this. If you remain at this stage, it's a stage where you'll see thoughts constantly. At this stage, It sees all the time. It just sees like that. It constantly sees. Who is the one who sees? This one that constantly sees, that constantly knows, that smells, tastes, feels touch, hears these sounds. Who is it? It will churn. It will know internally all the time. It's like our empty, clear, pure life element is awakened. When it's awakened, it will see constantly. It will constantly see the manifestations inside. It will see that even the knowing itself knows on its own. Keep seeing. Keep seeing. Observe, for instance. Suddenly there's a stomach growl. Knowing arises. There's a voice saying, hungry. It sees the manifestation of the stomach growling. Then there's a voice saying, hungry. It sees this knowing manifestation, that it knows by itself, and the voice gives value and meaning by itself. That is, it realizes that nothing at all is self. At that moment of knowing, it explodes. This moment is like pulling a high-voltage wire, pulling hard, yanking hard, and the high-voltage wire breaks apart. At the moment, it breaks. It sparks into flames. That moment is exactly like that. Very similar to that. The mind becomes brilliantly bright, as if breaking free from something. Bright and clear, like we've been carrying something heavy 100%, right? Discarded 25, became lighter, discarded 50, discarded 75, and now it discards another 25. That's 100 completely discarded. It breaks free from what we've been carrying. We've been searching for ways to let go for so long, but couldn't. Only now understanding that we just need to see that it's not us. When the empty, clear, pure life element, our element, has no form, but went on to attach to and create these manifestations, to envelope itself, it became heavy. But whenever it can shake off these manifestations and comes to know that it is the pure element, merging as one with the infinite universe, it becomes light and clear. Tears flow, crying for 3 days and 3 nights. Some people, some for a week even. It's true. It's real. Prove it by winning this game. Win over the ignorance of our life element. When the essence of life doesn't realize its own pure nature, it leads to misunderstanding. We fail to recognize that we are this pure essence and instead identify with the physical body. Yet, the body exists only to eventually decay and disintegrate. The unknowing mind then seeks another body, continuing the cycle. Imagine being reborn as a fish. We mistakenly believe we are the fish. Then, as a frog, a chicken, a duck, or a pig, we identify with each new form, thinking we are these beings. We declare ourselves a man, only to see that body dissolve, and then find ourselves reborn as a woman. The essence or mind, when inhabiting a form, immediately identifies with it because it doesn't yet know its true nature. Only upon realizing its pure essence does it awaken to the truth, often with tears of profound realization. It sees that it has never truly been born, never truly been a man or a woman. These identities are merely constructs created by the inner voice that says, "You are a man, you are a woman, you have a name and a family name." The pure essence, however, has no name, no surname. It has never been born into this world. It is unrelated to the cycle of birth, for it has never truly been born. This essence has no end. It was not created by parents. It is clear, pure, and has existed from the very beginning. This is the primordial essence, the original nature of all of us. When we reach that state, tears will flow naturally. Don't worry about the tears. They come from realizing that everything we thought was us is not truly so. It's like waking up from a dream or stepping out of a long game. We played the game so intensely, believing we were the characters in the game. We were so immersed, so attached, that we lost ourselves in it. Then, one day, we wake up and realize, Was I really stuck in this game for so many years? The understanding dawns. It wasn't real. Why did I cling to it? Why did I suffer and rejoice because of it? I was so engrossed that I even neglected my basic needs. Finally, we see that being trapped in the game only brought suffering and turmoil. When we truly understand that none of it was real, it's like seeing ourselves clearly for the first time. We may think, how could I have been so foolish? Why did I become so attached to something that isn't me? It becomes evident that nothing in this illusion is truly us. This realization is a return home, the true home of our essence. In this state, life becomes free of suffering because nothing can be identified as us. When we reach this understanding, we feel compelled to share it with others, to show them the path to freedom. This essence is beyond all things. It is immortal, timeless, dimensionless, the primordial and purest essence. It is so pure, so clear, clearer than anything imaginable. It shines with a brilliance beyond description, a radiant clarity that sparkles endlessly. This is the true essence, untouched, original, and eternally pure. When we reach this state, the essence of life becomes extraordinarily luminous. If we delve deeply and observe with subtlety, we will see that this essence shines with an unparalleled brilliance. Its radiance surpasses that of millions of light bulbs combined, illuminating everything around it. This light is accompanied by clarity, profound and pure. The brightness itself is the embodiment of knowledge, a wisdom that illuminates all truths. It is the light of true understanding, the light of awakening. Yet even with such brilliance, the essence remains clear, pristine, and pure. It is clarity in its most refined form, radiating endlessly. When the essence of life reaches its pure state, peace naturally arises. This is because understanding spreads when people share this realization. Teachers guide students, parents teach children, and everyone helps one another waken. The transformation is profound. Listening to these teachings and grasping the truth within can lead to an incredible awakening. For those quick to understand, it may take less than a day. For others, it might take a few days, weeks, or months. Rarely, it may take longer, but persistence is key. The essential practice is letting go. Release old knowledge, memories, and ideas. Do not rely on thinking or intellect. Simply observe that thoughts, memories, and emotions are not you. Detachment is crucial. It's not about clinging or holding on to anything. Even if realization arises, avoid pride or self-importance. True awakening is humble. It does not boast because it understands there is no self to claim any achievement. Genuine liberation is characterized by emptiness and openness, a state of pure giving, compassion, and the desire for everyone to attain the same freedom. As this realization spreads, it becomes contagious. Imagine a village of 500 people. One person awakens and eagerly shares their discovery with others, tears streaming from the overwhelming sense of wonder and relief. This inspires another, then another. Day by day, individuals awaken, and soon many begin speaking the same language of truth and freedom. The shared joy and unity grow, creating an extraordinary collective transformation that uplifts everyone. This is the ultimate vision, a life filled with peace, clarity, and the boundless light of the pure essence. This is the one teaching that no one has ever taught us before, something unknown until now. Once we realize it, we become like guides who help others find liberation from suffering. It feels as though we are here to lead everyone to freedom, but in truth we are nothing special. We are simply leading others to freedom together. Everyone must go together, liberated as one. In this state, there will be no more harm or oppression. Instead of anger, hatred, or violence, we will focus on guiding one another inward. There will be no more fighting over land or food. Instead, we will share, support, and help one another, creating a beautiful world together, because nothing is truly ours. We will live in this world with happiness, comfort, and prosperity, but without attachment. We will not cling to anything because nothing is us or ours. This is the peace that will arise for everyone, across all nations, religions, classes, castes, genders, and beliefs. Let us share this knowledge with the world. Spread these teachings widely. Share the message. Invite others to listen, to like, follow, and share. This will help everyone attain realization and permanent liberation from suffering. I can say with 1,000,000% certainty, whoever listens to my recording, listens every day, keeps listening, you will understand your life element well. From waking until sleeping, the moment we wake up, it thinks immediately, what time is it now? Can you see this kind of voice? See this voice that speaks. It speaks by itself. It speaks and passes away. Then it gets up from bed, feels stretching lazily. See how it feels? Some emotion that feels like not wanting to go anywhere, wanting to sleep more. See this kind of emotion? Then it speaks inside, don't want to go anywhere, want to sleep more. See this kind of voice? See this kind of emotion? It appears by itself, dissolves by itself, functions by itself. Observe carefully. It's not us. Observe carefully that nothing is us. There are only manifestations. Observe inside. Grasp the principle that we are the empty, clear, pure life element inside. Then observe the manifestations. Those manifestations are external. Observe the sounds, images, emotions, this knowing manifestation. Observe well inside. Get up, go to the bathroom, brush teeth, look. While brushing teeth, there's feeling. Feeling. See how it feels and knows by itself? Brushing teeth, feeling, feeling. When washing the face, the water touches the face and is cool, feeling by itself. See it? While washing the face, thinking inside, what should I eat? See this voice speaking like this? What should I eat? See it? Then it imagines, oh, today, eggs, fried eggs, put in fried eggs, make pancakes, make fried eggs into omelet, sunny side up, eat with rice, eat with hamburger. We think with images too. See these images? They appear by themselves, disappear by themselves. See it? It thinks by itself. Then satisfaction arises. Then it goes to cook rice, makes rice porridge sometimes, or makes curry, stir-fry, or fried rice sometimes. While we're doing it, a fragrant smell impacts, smells by itself. See how it smells the fragrance by itself? After a while, a cat meows. Meow, meow. We hear the cat's meow. See it? Then it thinks inside. Are you hungry, child? See, we speak inside. Are you hungry, child? We see this voice speaking like this. See the emotion spreading out. And at this moment we think of the factory. Ah, going to work. Today, I must go to a meeting. See, imagining that we go to a meeting. Imagining. Images appear. See it? Right now it's thinking about things that haven't happened yet. It's already thinking ahead. Then it thinks further. This Saturday and Sunday, take the family to play in the sea. Take the family mountain climbing. See the beauty of the sea. See these images it imagines? Then it speaks inside, and it has emotions. See these manifestations? This happens all day long. When we sit eating, putting food in our mouth, it perceives taste. It's satisfied. It's unsatisfied. It's spicy. It's hot. It knows and automatically gives value by itself. Where is the sense of self? Observe carefully how it functions by itself. What I'm speaking now, it functions by itself. This thing speaks by itself. Observe carefully. It hears by itself, right? Right now, no need to try to hear. Observe carefully. It hears by itself. No need to try to hear, but it will hear by itself. And it understands this language naturally by itself, see? Whoever sees this understands, then tears flow freely. Everything becomes clear. It's like, is there really nothing that is us? Even this understanding? It's not us understanding? Yes, it understands by itself. Observe this process carefully and continue to understand it deeply. As you observe and listen to my recordings over and over, the more you listen, the more wisdom you gain. The deeper your understanding becomes, until this knowledge penetrates your heart and awakens the essence of your life. When this pure, empty essence within us awakens, it realizes everything else is merely a phenomenon. The awakened essence recognizes itself as pure emptiness, utterly pristine and boundless. Once it knows its true nature, it understands that everything else is not us. It feels like a separation, as if something has been pulled apart, like yanking apart high-voltage cables. It's a sudden, explosive detachment, a burst of radiant clarity within the mind. This explosion brings immense light and an overwhelming sense of release. It's indescribably liberating, beyond anything. It reveals something supreme and extraordinary, something far beyond anything we've ever experienced. No matter how extraordinary it may seem, remember, nothing is truly us. Nothing has a self or a true existence. Never forget, we are the pure, empty essence of life, clear, pristine, and boundless. We are not anything. We have transcended everything. We are free, completely free from all attachment. This will be our final existence. We are here to guide everyone to liberation. When all are free, everyone will find the greatest peace and comfort. This will be the last journey for all, as we become one with the pure, empty essence, merging seamlessly with the infinite, formless universe. There will be no more suffering, no more rebirth, and no more entanglement with anything. We are utterly free from all suffering. Together, we will live in harmony, in profound peace. There will be no reason to harm one another, as nothing is truly ours. Life will be light, free, and filled with happiness. We will enjoy our time with loved ones, living peacefully in this final existence. Let us conclude here. May all people of every nation, race, religion, gender, and age come to realize this truth swiftly and fully. May this knowledge bring clarity and liberation to everyone without delay. Thank you for watching and engaging with these teachings on awakening. If you found them meaningful, we would deeply appreciate your support through subscribing, liking the video, or sharing your thoughtful comments.